Today, I want to talk about why our children's brains pick up patterns that are often not helpful. Children are great by their very nature, and we have the privilege and responsibility of raising them. It can be challenging at times. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Cynthia Armstrong. I'm a general and special education teacher. I homeschooled my own children for 5 years, and I talk about the things that I've studied and researched and applied and found what works for me, my family, and my students. Today, I want to talk about why our brain picks up unhelpful programs. And we often focus on those unhelpful programs because those are the ones that cause us pain in our lives. But just remember, our brain does pick up some very helpful ones as well. So I've talked about many of the pieces of why our brain picks up these unhelpful programs for ourselves, because we're still dealing with those as adults, the ones we've picked up as children, and then also so we can see and help our children to choose some helpful programs. So our brain is negatively biased. It just comes that way. It's a life protecting thing that our brain does. And then all actions that we do are to meet our basic 6 psychological needs that we have. And so when you put those together, that our brain is negatively biased, that our actions are to meet our needs, and then as infants, when we're first born, we cannot do anything for ourselves, including meet our psychological needs. But as adults, we can, but we never learned it. Often, we didn't learn how to meet our psychological needs independently without relying on others and situations. And so all of these things happen, and then our brain works off of a neurochemical reward system. So as children, we're striving to meet, to get our needs met externally, because we don't know how to do that internally, and it rewards our brain. So we're seeking connection, or we're seeking some certainty in our life, some certainty. And so we might do something, our parent yells at us, and we get our needs met. Now, remember that our brain gets rewarded, and so we are like, oh, okay, I got what I needed. And so it says, well, that's what we want to do. We want to continue to do that because our brain got its neurochemical need, our neurochemical reward off of us partially meeting those psychological needs. And our brain says, ooh, I just got enough reward for that, that it's going to hold me here and cause me to stay in this pattern of, well, I'm going to annoy mom till she yells at me, or I'm going to do whatever, because then I at least get a partial sense of my need being met. And again, I'm not, as a child, not thinking, oh, I'm getting my need met. I just feel that neurochemical reward, and so then I hold on to that. My brain will hold on to that because he's like, ooh, I did get some neurochemical rewards. I'm going to do it again. And that's why we get stuck in our patterns. We do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again, because I got my need met. I got some neurochemicals from that. So let's do it more, because if I do it more, then maybe I'll get more of that reward. And so then we develop these patterns, and our children develop these patterns based on the negative bias of their brain, based on getting their needs partially met, based on the neurochemical reward. And so then they get in these patterns, and I say they, knowing that it's also us, and that as we realize the part that that neurochemical reward plays, because this is all subconscious, we don't go, ooh, yeah, I like how that felt. Because guess what? Our brain doesn't care how our emotions feel. It doesn't care if it gets its neurochemical rewards based on kind of the negative things, the things that are less helpful to us, or whether it gets its needs met off of that joy and that excitement and the gratitude. It just wants its neurochemical rewards. And so when we see that we or our children are stuck in a pattern, we can't just say, oh, I noticed the pattern, poof, it's gone away. It doesn't always work that way, because unless our brain finds another way to get that reward, then we can maybe maintain that for a little while, but then we fall back into the old patterns because we didn't say, brain, you don't need to get your rewards that way anymore. We're going to get our rewards another way. And often that is in celebrating. And for many people, it's really hard to celebrate the things that we do, because we get into oh, we're not good enough. I didn't do enough to deserve this, reward, this even emotional reward of celebrating and feeling that joy. And hey, I did that on purpose. And celebrating other people, because again, we're still trying to meet our needs externally, and many times our children need to be a certain way. They need to get into these college. And we have these ideas of things that need to happen for us to feel good, or for and our children, they pick up on those same patterns because we don't have to say them. It's the energy, and it's what they notice, and they notice more than we think. They really truly do, and they have that feel of that thoughts and the energies that we put out, and so it's allowing us to feel rewarded, to feel the joy, to feel the gratitude in all the incremental things that then allow our brain to feel its reward, to get its neurochemical rewards met in a way that actually benefits us. And it's that negative bias that often will kind of have our early programs tend to those things that are not helpful, because hey, when my mom yelled at me, or hey, when these negative things happened, when these things happened, I had strong emotions, I had the neurochemical reward. And so it's changing, it's focusing on being okay with celebrating those little things. It doesn't mean we don't have more things to work on. It doesn't mean we're perfect. It just means, hey, I did something on purpose, and I'm choosing to feel the reward for this. I'm choosing to feel that joy, that gratitude, that love. Even if my mom's yelling at me, right? Even if things are in conflict with my spouse, even if something happened at work, I can still feel joy and gratitude because I choose it, because I can see that even in this difficult situation, or even in this challenge, or even a little bit of this, even in this conflict, whether it's big or small, internally or externally, I can still feel the reward so that my brain knows that, hey, I want to go towards this, that I can let people hold their own. If that conflict is with my spouse, I can give my husband space. He can be upset or angry or struggling with whatever it is he's struggling with. And even though that's like in my home and I'm around it, and it does affect what I might do or say, it doesn't have to affect how I feel. That I can say, wow, he's really struggling with his programs, and give him that space so that I can stay in my joy. And the same with my child. My child got addicted to drugs, or my child is not wanting to do school, whatever it is that they're struggling with that is bothering us. What if it didn't bother us? That we can let them have their space to go through their journey. And I'm okay because I had to go through my own journey. And not all parts of my life were fantastic and great and what my mom would have wanted. But it brought me to where I am. And so if we go in with that and give them that space, then we have that space to keep our joy, to keep the reward where we want it to. And that doesn't mean we don't go in and help our child. It just means we're in a better place to help our child. That we're not going in to fix our child so that we can meet our needs. We are have that unconditional love to be able to go in and have greater influence. And so it might seem, but no, I've got to feel that. I've got to feel that negative. I've got to feel that pain. I've got to, let my child know, or my spouse know that, hey, and, if we've been doing that all of our lives, think about it. How effective is it? And that feeling that we need to do that is the neurochemical reward our brain is used to. It's not a real thing. We can allow that space and get our neurochemical needs met in a way that's beneficial for us and allows us to influence our children more. So remember, children are great by their very nature, and we have that opportunity and that responsibility to raise them. Hi friends, Cynthia Armstrong here. Thanks for joining us today. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel so you can see when new videos come out, and like this one. It is such a responsibility and a challenge to raise great kids, and we are here to help you along that journey to make it as enjoyable and fun and fulfilling as possible. Please check out our website, www.raisinggreatkids.net, and I will leave that in the description below.